Hi everyone, welcome to Majlis by Cecilia. We are in an amazing Majlis in Riyadh, and today we are speaking about Ramadan because yes, since 5 days, everything changed in Saudi Arabia. In Riyadh, you must have seen the streets are empty until 8 p.m. The life completely changed. And we are here to speak about this because Ramadan is not only about fasting and spirituality, but there is so many things around it. And today I am with Abdulrahman, who is a tour guide. For the past 4 years, he's passionate about culture and traditions and showing Saudi Arabia to the whole world. Today, we are having a real Majlis discussion with Abdulrahman and we are answering all your questions. So, hi Abdulrahman.
Hi, Cecilia.
I'm so happy that you are our first guest actually in this new platform because actually I have a story which is that all the guests traveling with Abdulrahman, they are telling me that he's a crazy tour guide and I never understand how he's so excellent and everything. So now I will know all the secrets today with you, Abdulrahman.
Fantastic. No pressure.
And actually we are here to speak about Ramadan because for you, of course, Saudis, you know everything about Ramadan, but we have so many questions about Ramadan from expats. And actually, me, it's my fifth. Like I did Ramadan in the UAE, in Saudi, but like when I arrived in the UAE, I didn't know anything about Ramadan, and I think it's a case of a lot of expats and tourists traveling in Saudi or staying in Saudi during these months.
Right.
So I'm so happy that you can give us insights about Ramadan and your perspective, how to celebrate it and everything. But I want to know first, if I just tell you Ramadan, what comes to your mind like directly?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be your first guest here. And of course, Ramadan is known to be one of the pillars of Islam. So it's a practice where Muslims fast from sunrise to sunset for a whole month during the month of Ramadan. To me personally, I would say Ramadan is a time for family. So everything slows down, life slows down, work takes a back seat. And so people have a more free time to sit with family and, especially for iftar. So I would say most Saudi families have this tradition where they will all sit down at the same table or on the floor and enjoy iftar together. So it's a time for family.
Okay, so it's reflection, family, slowing down.
Absolutely.
Okay, amazing.
And it's not only for immediate family, but, grandparents, sons, and, brothers and sisters, extended families as well.
Okay, amazing. I think it's similar to for Christian Christmas.
Absolutely.
But it's shorter Christmas.
Right.
But like it's also a time where everybody's together and sharing good moments and everything. There is something that I feel it's a stereotype about Ramadan is that it's not the right time to travel,
Right.
or because I believe when you travel during Ramadan you need to adapt to the rhythm. So for you, do you think it's the right time? And if yes, what do you think? Which cities would you advise to travel to during Ramadan?
Right. So the obvious thing for somebody who's non-Muslim is not being able to enjoy lunch outside,
Yeah.
right? And then the other challenge is the operating time for various attractions. Now, as you said, it's only a matter of changing the timing. So I definitely think that Ramadan has a unique vibe and a different experience when you're traveling across the Middle East, but especially in Saudi. The number one thing that I would say most people would need to alter is the timing of the visit. So you'll notice that during the daytime, things are quiet, a lot of places are closed, and then in the evening, everyone is out and about, families with kids out in 2 a.m.,
Yes.
3 a.m. And so definitely, if you're okay with this unique change in timing, the whole place is open and definitely you get a new feel and a different perspective. This is true across all places of Saudi, I would say. If you ask most Saudis, I think Riyadh and Jeddah has a unique Ramadan vibe, let's say. So you see pop-up restaurants in the historic sites here in Riyadh and also, of course, in Bennett, famous. And then you experience all the savory, delicious Ramadan dishes
Yes.
that people tend to prepare
Like what?
only for Ramadan. So you know how people say you shouldn't go shopping when you're hungry. You also shouldn't be cooking when you're hungry. And so these savory dishes are either sweet or fried, like sambusa, legumat, various types of soups, and then desserts, knafa, all these other dishes that, people enjoy in Ramadan. Qamar al-Din and other drinks that are, enjoyed especially for Ramadan.
So there is like a special, I think, yeah, around, there is something special around food. And I even see, I think in Riyadh and in Jeddah, I think mainly in Al-Balad also,
Yeah.
so many new things happening only during Ramadan. I even saw in Riyadh, like in one neighborhood, some people who just took a land to create a small Ramadan pop-up, and it works so well. Everybody is passing by, stopping by a car. So why, like, during this month, there is this kind of vibe that me, I love it. Like, I feel it's something so special that people, I feel expats miss, because there is this idea of Ramadan, everything is quite slowing down and everything, because there is a different rhythm. So why do you think there is a spirit?
Right. Well, let's say back to the point where work takes a back seat, so people have more free time to go out and do shopping and things like this. And at the end of Ramadan, you have, of course, Eid,
Yes.
which is, I would say, more similar to Christmas than, let's say, Ramadan.
Yes.
And so it's actually a big season for shopping. So a lot of people go out during Ramadan to shop, to have a bite to eat, enjoy that time. So definitely, yeah, that's
Okay.
what makes it, unique.
So you would advise people to live the Ramadan vibe in Riyadh and Jeddah?
Yes, I would say from my experience, this is where you can really feel something different and, bigger in scale. Because, larger cities with larger populations. But I would say every city across Saudi Arabia will have this unique vibe, especially in the evening. A lot of people are out shopping,
Yes.
at restaurants, things like that.
What about Alula? Because it's like the main, like I would say that it's one of the main tourism destinations in Saudi. I feel also that, for me, I would say that it's the perfect season. It's cheaper.
Absolutely.
There is less people.
You get
I
good
heard that,
deals.
yes, you have good deal, amazing 5-star hotel for much cheaper. And I heard also that a lot of things are open. I think since last year.
Yeah.
So is it the right time to travel to Alula?
So Al-Ula, as you said, tourism is the main industry there. And so Al-Ula is a bit unique in that respect. So you have more restaurants open
Yes.
during the day. And as you said, you get a better deal, less tourists, less crowds. And so everything is, quieter, I would say. And now Ramadan is encroaching into the winter months, which are generally the advisable months to visit Al-Ula. And so, yes, definitely it's not a barrier to people to go there, especially for Al-Ula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm traveling to Jeddah, Medina, and Alula
Nice.
for Ramadan. Last year, I traveled to Al-Ahsa, and I had an amazing experience because I celebrated Hak-
Ghabka.
Habka
Right, yes.
in the Saudi house in Bahrain.
Fantastic.
Honestly, it was amazing, and I wish everybody experienced this in Saudi, because it's really showing like a new perspective, new traditions. So it's amazing. So I think there is stereotypes to break about this, because now I see a lot of expats going to Qatar, Bahrain
For
Why?
Ramadan, you mean?
for Ramadan.
Right.
No, we should travel
Absolutely.
inside Saudi.
I agree.
Amazing. So, few tips for expats, because I see also that I see more content about Ramadan than before. Also, expats, they want to know more. A tourist, I don't know, you will tell us also. But for an expats, how and where do you think they should experience Ramadan properly? In the Saudi house, in the Ramadan tent, in the street? Like, what would you advise?
Well, the chef's answer is all of the above. So all of the above provide a unique piece of different. Definitely in a Saudi household, you will see the rush before, almost, everyone is working to get the dishes ready, because, the moment that the sunset prayer is, announced through the adhan, people start eating. And so you have this hectic atmosphere around the kitchen. People are getting everything prepared and ready. So that's definitely a unique experience. Everyone is breaking their fast at the same exact moment, starting with dates.
Can you tell us more about this for
Yeah.
people who never went to any Saudi house?
Yes.
What is happening? It's really a question because, like, I think everybody is wondering, like, what is, some people sleep, others have a normal day, but for sure at 5:50 there is something happening. So can you
Yes.
tell us everything behind the scenes?
Right. So Saudi Arabia is, of course, diverse, and it's a huge area, and you have different cuisines, slightly different traditions as you travel along. So that's also another interesting aspect, that you get to experience different traditions around Ramadan in different places. But definitely people break their fast at the end of the day, and so you prepare everything for iftar at that time, as it was tradition for in Prophet's lifetime. You start breaking the fast with dates. The family sit together, and then they enjoy iftar. Usually, they will start with the smaller meal because they need to do the prayer. That's the fourth
Yeah.
prayer, the Maghrib prayer. So they will, have soup, some water, maybe a juice, a few dates, and then go, especially the men, go out to the mosque to
Yes.
pray. And then once they are back from the mosque, so roughly around an hour after breaking the fast, then they'll enjoy the proper iftar, the huge spread that you see
Okay.
with various,
So
dishes.
it's more like a small, like it's like a breakfast.
Exactly.
It's a breakfast,
Yeah.
actually. And then you slow down, you pray, and the moment after prayer is where you gather with family.
Yeah. And this, you have the rest of the food, yes.
And what do you do until, because I heard that a lot of people sleep after
The
Fajr,
iftar.
the prayer of Fajr.
Right.
So what is happening until this
Yeah,
time?
so I would say, I'm afraid a lot of people are not getting enough sleep, or there is a disruption in their schedule, especially the first days of Ramadan. People need to train themselves to the new hours and new timings. Of course, most office work is cut by around 20 to 25%, and this helps people get a little bit more sleep. Now, as I said, Muslims will fast during the day, so in the evening, it's normal. They can eat, they can
Yeah.
do everything. And so you'll see all businesses are open throughout the evening. In fact, a lot of
Yes.
shopping malls now open through the night and early morning.
Yes.
So you see people out and about 6, 7 a.m. in the malls,
Yeah.
and they do their shopping. I would say a lot of people will have a nap before breaking their fast. And when they are coming back from work at 3, 4 p.m., they'll get some sleep. And then catch more sleep after the Fajr prayer, as you said. But yeah.
So it's a complete new rhythm for 1 month, where you work at different timing, you sleep at different timing, you gather at different timing. Like it's a shifting mode. Like from one day, this is what is quite interesting and surprising for us, for example, is that in one day, Riyadh is becoming, I mean, the whole Saudi, but for us, Riyadh here, it's becoming a new city. Like today on the road, it's funding day plus Ramadan.
Yes.
Alone on the
And-
road.
yes.
No
Good
traffic.
feeling in Riyadh, huh?
Yeah. No traffic. Everybody, like, it's super surprising how it's shifting to a city what it's that we don't know,
Yeah.
because Riyadh is never sleeping usually, but here, like,
Absolutely,
it's
yeah.
sleeping during the day.
100%. It's refreshing actually to travel during the day, and you don't see a lot of travel. However, you get punished for that in the evening. So in the evening,
Yes.
you have all of this traffic concentrated.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah, you need to plan your travel accordingly, I would say, especially in a place like Riyadh.
True. What would you? So okay, so for expats, it would be, of course, in Saudi house, but then other iftar. There is so many iftar.
Yeah,
there.
Ramadan tents.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, a lot of these places, because of the rush and everyone is eating at around the same time, they'll do buffet style
Yes.
of Ramadan tents.
Yeah.
And these are, super interesting to also see and try out, especially for an expat who's
Yeah.
not used to that. So we see huge tables where families gather, and then,
Yeah.
try out different dishes from across the Muslim world.
Yeah, the vibe is nice. And also one tip, I think, for expats that I did last year, it's going to Al Raji Mosque.
Right.
They do a very nice tour, and I think nobody knows about it, but it's very nice. You get to learn about Islam, Ramadan, and you have an iftar in the mosque, and they explain you a lot of things about the breaking the fast and everything. It's super interesting, and I think for me, it's you get really the vibe as if you're in a house, and with a lot of interesting content about religion and everything. So it's from my side, this is what I would advise also.
No, it's fantastic. And they do Imam Faisal bin Turkey down in the city center now. So the same organization is doing great work. Doing
Where?
tours. Imam Faisal bin Turkey, opposite Musmak Fortress.
Really?
Yes, same organization. They are doing it there as well, yeah.
Iftar?
Not sure about the iftar part, but they do
usually-
the tour and explanations about the religion and culture. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So if someone just moved to Saudi, we received a lot of message from expats they just moved to Saudi. What would be 3 things that they should know about Ramadan?
Right. So I think we addressed a few things. I think it's important and sometimes needs a bit getting used to is you don't eat or drink in public out of respect for your Muslim colleagues and friends around you. People understand that people have different customs and things like this, so it's fine. You don't have to completely abstain or fast with people, but yeah, you need to do it a bit more discreetly out of respect. So I'd say that's one thing that people keep in mind. The other thing is, enjoy the shifting schedule. So people do more stuff in the evening. Shops, their hours change, so keep that in mind also. And I would say more and more there are more options open in terms of restaurant even during the day in various large cities. Hotels offer services like this. But yeah, just to enjoy a different feel, and it's really quite unique. People abstaining, from food and drink and a lot of other things as well. And focusing on family, focusing on spirituality and connecting with God. I think that's really refreshing in a hectic world where everything is going fast. To slow down, hit pause, and really think about what truly matters.
Yeah, I agree. Even as non-Muslim, I think you should take this month. And I see it more and more. Like, I'm so surprised this year because it's the first year that I see that much content from expats about Ramadan on social media. And
Right.
I really feel it's a shift because it means that it's really, like, it's becoming a period also for, like, a moment for people to really learn more. It means that people are becoming more and more interested about knowing more, trying. Like, so many people are trying to fast. Me, the first one, like, I'm so grateful I have been invited to so many iftars at home, which is my favorite home. And like, it's so unique. I think you can, for you, it's your routine.
Right.
But when you enter in, like, my first Ramadan in the UAE, I was invited by my boss who was Emirati. And for me, it was really so special because it's a new way of seeing things, hospitality, new dishes. You learn so much. Like, it's so amazing. And I lost my word. Yeah, I think it's good for expats to take a step back, slowing down, reflect on your journey. What do you want to achieve? It's also this, I feel.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you focus on what matters.
Yeah.
That's ultimately what it is. And it's good to get a break from your routine. And I think most of the things really slow down during Ramadan.
And do you think there is stereotypes or misconceptions?
Misconceptions around Ramadan. I think it's not a completely dead time. I think a lot of people think that we get nothing done in Ramadan, and I think that's not true. And, throughout history, Islamic history, people have done great undertakings and achievements during the month of Ramadan. And so, while it is a time where work and productivity slows down, but it doesn't grind to a complete halt, I think that's a misconception.
Okay. And do you have tourists?
So I do have tours. In fact, I have today a tour. Definitely numbers are not the same in Ramadan versus outside of Ramadan, but yeah, we have tourists and they have a great time and it might be wild to change the timings. Like
Yeah.
last night we did 11 p.m. visit to the National Museum, which was a bit unusual, but
Which
you can visit all the sites. The sites are open. It's just an adjustment of time.
So are you expecting that there will be more and more tourists? Like for example, in the UAE, there is a lot of tourists. But having tours that are more toward Ramadan content, to learn more. Do they ask? Like for example, you had tourists yesterday
Yes.
and today. What are they interested? Like, do they ask questions?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, and especially if they are, I would say people from Western Europe are more accustomed and have more contact, with Muslim culture. But if you have people from Latin America who have less of a contact, and they ask a lot of questions because they're curious. And are you okay? They are checking on me. They are worried about me. But I said, guys, I'm fine. I've been doing this for decades, and I appreciate your concern, but it's fine. And of course, yes, they find it different and unique. Not being able to have your coffee in the morning, or So of course,
Which I think it's the most difficult. I think coffee.
the coffee, absolutely.
I can see that it's.
I think most people miss that. I would
Even
say.
it's changing everywhere here you go to any place you have qahwa and dates.
Yes.
And then you arrive, now you're having meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Yeah,
just
you cannot serve people. There is no hospitality.
yeah. But it's double at night.
Of course.
Yes.
Exactly.
So one topic that I think it's interesting also, because there is some words that we hear in Ramadan. I didn't tell you Ramadan Karim.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much.
So, how is the greeting? Like, is there rules? I want you, if you can tell us everything that people should know in terms of terms, like Ramadan Karim, Taraweeh, this kind of thing that we
Right.
always hear. Even iftar, suhoor, if you can explain us the meanings. My mom was here last week and she was like, I was telling her about, this week, about iftar, suhoor, and she was like, what is this? Like, I don't know this term,
Yes.
So if you can explain us all the terms that we have during this month and
So it's customary at the beginning of Ramadan to congratulate people on the month. So you would say Ramadan Kareem or Ramadan Mubarak.
yes.
Which is the more common, and they will, greet you back in the same manner. I think that's, a nice thing to do, even as expats. And as for iftar, we alluded to it earlier. So iftar is the first meal that you enjoy, and this is when you break the fast. So iftar literally means, breaking the fast. And then when you break the fast, you're allowed to eat throughout the night, but usually people will have a pre-fast meal, and this is called suhoor. Now, suhoor has an interesting timing. People have different ways of doing it, but it tends to be late in the night. So roughly 2, 3 a.m. around these hours, when you sit down for a relatively large meal. This is suhoor, to give you sustenance before
So what
starting
kind
the
of
fast.
meal?
So, again, in our household, what we used to have for lunch, right? And lunch is the larger meal. So maybe a kebsa or some
Kebsa.
sort of rice, some sort of meat, chicken, something like that. So it's a large meal for
Okay.
you to be ready for the fast. Taraweeh is the evening prayer. Now, as we all know, Muslims pray 5 times a day. These are like the obligatory prayers. Taraweeh is an additional one, and it's an optional one that people do in Ramadan. Now, what's also, I would say, unique about Taraweeh is women are encouraged to do the prayer in the mosque.
Oh.
Yeah. So, as you know, both in Islam, men and women pray 5 times a day, but women are not encouraged to pray in the mosque the daily prayers. Whereas for Taraweeh, they are actually encouraged. So you see a lot of, women and children going into the women's area of mosque to pray. So that's also a unique experience in the mosque. And these are the common terms, I would say. Yeah.
Fajr, maybe. Fajr.
Well,
no?
Fajr is just the first prayer of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
day. Yeah, it's the dawn prayer.
So there is no other things you think that people should know, like in terms of things that we hear? No.
Well, besides the important stuff that we covered so far, is that the last 10 days of Ramadan are even more special and holier to people. And then you, in addition to Taraweeh, people will have a middle of the night prayer called Qiyam. And so you will see people also going to the mosque again around this time. And it's actually an even holier and important part of Ramadan. And so, yeah, people in a more spiritual mood, I would say, in the last 10 days, counting down till you have Eid al-Fitr.
Yeah, that's interesting actually, because I think now there is a kind of atmosphere where everybody is out at night after iftar. I would say from 8 p.m. we can see that the streets are full, but then it will slow down, right?
Yeah, people, I would say, get into the rhythm of Ramadan,
Yeah.
right? And then, yes, I would say you have slowing down a little bit. We have this joke where the iftar table is getting smaller.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so at the beginning of Ramadan, people are super excited, and they are fasting after a while. And so a lot of food is laid out in the iftar. And then little by little, people will tend to eat less because they are just used to the rhythm now of fasting during the day.
So there is a change. I think now there is a kind of, we say, euphoria.
Yeah, euphoria, yeah.
We have someone in front of me now who is almost sleeping. So Ramadan is challenging sometimes.
Exactly.
But yes, the rhythm is like, me, I see that now it's the first week is like the euphoria. Like even my mom, she was asking me, is it the whole month like this? Or then it's changed? I think it's changed. At some point you
get into it.
Yeah, you get into it.
Yeah.
It's like the normal day. But this is super interesting. And I wanted to know if you can let us know also in terms of religion, like the Ramadan, like what is it, why fasting and everything.
So, as I said earlier, fasting Ramadan is one of 5 pillars of Islam.
Yeah.
And the Prophet has done it. And the central theme is you are fasting, you are depriving yourself from a lot of pleasures.
Okay.
Right? And then you are doing this for the sake of God. And you are also reminding yourselves of people who are in a less fortunate position in life. People who are suffering from one thing or another, or unable to have enough to eat. And so traditionally this is what people thought of Ramadan. It's an opportunity to remember the blessings you have in life and how comfortable you are around the year. And then when you lose these blessings, even temporarily, that it's an opportunity for you to contemplate, how fortunate we are, how grateful we all are for the blessings that we have in life. And that's really the central theme around Ramadan.
Okay. And you read the Quran during?
Absolutely, yes. So during the month of Ramadan, another tradition is completing the Quran. So it's not a small book if you've seen it.
Yes.
And so, but you worship God, and you're doing a good deed in the eyes of God when you read His book during the holy month. And so you see a lot of people reading it.
Yes.
And conveniently, the Quran is separated into 30 chapters. And so you can read 1 chapter a day.
Ah, okay. I didn't know.
Yeah, there you go. And so a lot of the time, your local mosque, will do what we call a khatma, which is the conclusion, as we say. And this is when the Imam has finished reading the Quran during the Taraweeh and Qiyam, these additional prayers that they did. So definitely, yes, reading the Quran is a common practice during Ramadan, yeah.
Okay, amazing. So I think we covered almost all topics. There were one thing that I wanted to... there is a lot of Muslim expats in Saudi Arabia. Some of, because we opened some questions in the account to know, what people would like to know and everything. And I think there is a lot of Muslim expats who didn't... they were living in France, in Spain, in Europe. They couldn't really live Ramadan. And then they moved to Saudi Arabia. And they really... I think they discover a new vibe and everything. Do you like? Is it a great time also to travel to Medina, Mecca?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, Mecca, if you've seen the live feed out of Mecca yesterday,
Yeah.
it's an amazing sight.
Yes.
And from the social media that I've seen, the mosque was closed for one prayer because it was full of worshippers. So definitely during the holy months, Mecca and Medina enjoys a high season. So unlike maybe occupancy in a lot of hotels, Mecca and Medina,
Yes.
it's full of people. So definitely it's the place to be, I would say, for Muslims to enjoy Mecca and Medina during
Okay.
Ramadan. Absolutely.
Amazing. So just last question. If you are invited for iftar or suhoor, but usually iftar,
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, both are
Both.
okay. Both are okay. Yes.
So what should we bring?
So I would say Saudis are so hospitable that they tend not to expect your guest to bring anything. I would say a lot of the time, especially if the whole family is going, right? The woman will bring one dish, one iftar dish with her for people to try out and to enjoy. So I would say this is a common practice, or maybe some qahwa and date for people to enjoy. But yes, just bring yourselves, and your host would be happy even if you did
Okay.
not bring anything else.
Okay. What should I wear? Oh, and what you wear? I mean, women and
Yes. So I would, people are presentable, of course. There is no special attire for men. For women, I'm a father of 3 girls. And so, yeah, we all bought them these nice traditional outfit just for Ramadan. So, yeah, you can wear something like this, something more Oriental, let's say, more
Yeah.
Middle Eastern.
Jalabiya.
Jalabiya,
Nice dress.
mahawir, things like that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you don't. It's okay not to bring anything, but for sure, they will have gifts. If you go to a Saudi house,
Yes.
if I go, I will get gifts.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, very well, especially for somebody who is from another culture.
Yeah.
You are an even more honored guest, and absolutely, yeah.
Anything people should know if they go to a Saudi house during Ramadan, like how to greet, how to, or
I would say it's relatively the same thing, right? You don't need to make a lot of adjustments. I would say
Yeah.
just you know, people are generally polite to each other, and they are happy to have you there. And people are also excited about sharing their culture. So
Yes.
people understand that all around the world, people have different customs, and so they are happy to explain it. So it's okay to be inquisitive and curious, and, respectful, and people are happy to have you.
Amazing. I think we covered everything. Do you want to add something, or you like as a knowledgeable tour guide, like something that you think people should know, or
I think it's just the point on visiting Saudi Arabia. So I know that a lot of tour agencies don't prefer it. If they can help it, sending guests during Ramadan for understandable reasons. What I would say is Ramadan is not a time that Saudi is closed. It's fully open. It has a unique vibe. I would say it's really interesting to experience it during Ramadan. And just the simple adjustment in the timings and the different itineraries is not a huge thing. So I definitely encourage people to come, visit and experience it, and enjoy, like you said, a special deal on everything because not a lot of tourists at them.
yeah, I'm sure. Like I can see it, like especially in Alula, like where people find that it's quite expensive and everything. I think it's the right time,
Definitely.
and you will not be surrounded by a lot of people.
Yes. No, that's calm.
There is also something, once Ramadan starts, we see crescent moons everywhere, lanterns.
Right, yeah. Let's talk about symbols of Ramadan.
Yes.
Yeah, so the obvious one is obviously the lantern. So a lot of theories around it, but likely because people are more awake during the night time. Of course, back then, no electricity, so people were using these lanterns a lot more to walk around. And then there is also this tradition in a lot of places. There was a person called Musaharati. And this person will wake the people up, no alarm clocks. Huh? So he would be walking down the streets and then chanting something like اصحى يا نايم وحد الدايم, or wake up your sleep and then worship. And the idea is behind this musaharat is you need somebody to wake people up to have suhoor before they start their fast.
Okay.
This was especially popular in Jeddah, Mecca and Hijaz area, Medina. You had this musaharati person until people had technology and alarm clocks and things like this. Crescent moon is because the Islamic calendar, the Hijri calendar, is a lunar calendar. And so people will determine the start of every month by looking at the crescent moon. So crescent moon became associated with Ramadan. Cannons, sometimes in the decorations you see cannons. And the cannons were used to announce the time for iftar.
Okay.
And so in a lot of places, if you go to Hayr, to the Ayr fortress, you will see a cannon at the fortress. And this is where they will, it's not really shooting anything, it's just announcing the sound that iftar time is here. And now I'm seeing this growing trend where people will decorate their houses with lighting. So in my neighborhood, a lot of the houses have this beautiful lighting decoration. To celebrate, to mark the month of Ramadan.
Yeah, which was not the case before.
I would say, it wasn't as popular. Now I see like every other house has some sort of nice lighting and decoration.
Even the streets. Like when 3 years ago when I arrived, it was not decorated as much as now.
Exactly.
Which looks more like we know when Ramadan starts.
Absolutely.
Is there other symbols of Ramadan, like lanterns, moon? Is there other?
I would say these are the popular ones that were the common ones. Also, one thing, Cecilia, we didn't talk about is how Ramadan is a big season for TV.
Yes.
So if you watch Arabic television, you see huge productions, historical dramas, big soap operas. And so it's definitely a huge season for television. And because we said people have more leisure time, more downtime, and so people are sitting around together and watching these TV shows.
So from right after iftar, even before iftar, there is TV shows and people watch it, like on NBC. And,
exactly, they are quite popular, yes. And even streaming platforms now, people on the digital age, but definitely, yes, it's a huge season.
And do you have, because me, there is one that I watched last year, but I missed it during Ramadan, so I watched it during summer, which is, I pronounce it not well, but Shara al-Asha.
Shara al-Asha, yes.
I didn't expect to be addicted to a Saudi TV show. So this year, I didn't manage to watch it, the 2 episodes per day. But I think people should watch it to also understand well, it's not about Ramadan, of course, but like I love the fact that you can see Saudi before, so many drama, love stories. And it's very interesting. Is there others?
Well, like I said, it's a big season, and a lot of the shows are newly released during Ramadan. But definitely, like you said, you have these TV shows from various time periods as well. You have stuff from 200 years ago, and then stuff that are in the 70s, I believe, in Asha is around this time frame. And so, yes, for somebody who's curious about Saudi culture and society, you can see these snapshots of societies throughout time. So I think that's also interesting. And now a lot of these streaming platforms have subtitles, English subtitles. So that's a great way to learn about Saudi.
Yeah, I agree. I think I strongly advise to watch it, and it's so fun.
We have a big channel now.
Yeah, I was so excited, and then I was like, I don't have time to watch 2 episodes per day, but Shahad exists.
Exactly.
So thank you so much,
my pleasure.
Abdulrahman. If you have any question to Abdulrahman, let us know in comments. And Ramadan Kareem again. I hope you have a nice still 3 weeks almost of Ramadan. And maybe we will be back for content on Eid as well.
Yeah, sure. I'll be happy to.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.